Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Wolf Band of Comedy, Big Adrian, coming at you for another round of Howling at Life, everybody. What? Because Frankie can't be here today. So anyways, hey, welcome for another episode of Howling at Life. I haven't done this for a while, so I'm very energetic, I needed to do an episode for sure. Just a couple of announcements we'll be doing. Also, some stuff that's going to be happening pretty soon and stuff, so... yay. So, as you can see in the studio, we have Spooky Bitch coming up. I'll give you a round of applause. Here you go.
Hi.
There you go. That was awesome. All right. So we're coming back for another episode of Howling at Life in here. Wolf Band of Comedy coming at you. Trying to do this more regular, but there's been a lot of life happening, so we'll be talking about that. A lot of announcements that are coming up as well. Just to let you know. Hey, thank you for everybody that still kind of listens to older episodes and stuff like that. Again, life has been kind of getting lifey lately, but hopefully we can get these back, every other week or something like that, get some episodes out there. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and this is a great outlet. Also, for all y'all in the Wolfpack out there listening, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully we can kind of get this going together again. You know what I mean? Because it'd be really nice.
Woo!
Yeah! To be able to do that again for everybody. So just to let you know. So a couple of announcements. You can always follow me on social media. That is Big Adrian Lopez on Facebook. Big Adrian, all one word. And then you have Big Daddy L714, Big Daddy L714, as well as I think it's Big Adrian. No, I think I changed it.
You changed something.
I changed something. Anyways, look on my social media, Big Adrian Comedy. I know that stayed the same for sure. The other one, I forgot what it is. But hey, you know what? Check out Big Adrian Comedy, and you'll probably get a link to my other one. But a special announcement in here, just to let you know. Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Drum roll.
I forgot to do a drum roll up in here, but let me kind of go ahead and do this real quick. No, we're not going to do that bullshit. I got sound effects for that reason, y'all. Like I was mentioning before, life has been getting kind of lifey a little bit. There's been a lot of stuff that's going on. But just an announcement. I have sound effects. Howling at Life will be again on Spotify, everybody. You'll be catching these episodes, the new episodes now coming up on Spotify, as well as YouTube, so you can check them both out. Boom, what's up with that?
Back to the original.
Yeah, so I had actually my boss actually at work was like, well, can I listen? Are you on Spotify? And I went, yeah, my older episodes. But there's been a lot of good episodes that have been coming out, and I haven't been putting them on Spotify because it's a pain in the ass. You kind of have to record a little bit and do your thing. But I'm going to be doing that as well. So this episode right now, right here, the last episode of March 2026 will actually be on Spotify, everybody. So you can check that out as well. Yeah, you can go ahead and applause on that. We can do it. That last kid. Yeah. But so a big announcement. These will also be on Spotify, and they'll also be on YouTube. So we're gonna be doing this right here. We got Spooky Bitch in studio.
Here.
You know what I was thinking though, actually, and it was funny because I was having a board meeting in the restroom, and somebody told me I gotta go to a board meeting. I was like, are they gonna talk a lot of shit? Got it. I was thinking you should probably change your name to Miss Spooky.
Okay.
That sounds kind of cool. A little more official.
I'm not a bitch.
Didn't say that. So I was like, is she a bitch?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Just a little deal right there. But we are going to be on Spotify as well as we're going to start being on Spotify as well as on YouTube. So you can actually do both. I'm going to try to advertise all these. But my people in the Wolfpack, you can always go listen to me on the car because I know that I want you to be safe out there. But you can listen to me on Spotify. There is a lot of the older episodes from the first year of this podcast on there. They're very good ones for sure. But we're going to kind of get wrapped up in doing these again. I try to do them every week, but it's going to be difficult. I'm starting my first year internship for my master's degree, which is, yeah, we can do that. That's gonna be coming up, so it's gonna be kind of tight to be able to do them every week. I was gonna like not do these again, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's a lot of things that are happening that it'd be really good to kind of get on here and do the podcast again. And Spooky Bitch was telling me that she's like, I'll do it with you. I said, cool. A lot of the Monster Squad, much love to the Monster Squad, but everybody's kind of busy doing their thing, and I hate doing these solo. So there's a lot of that's kind of coming into play with doing the podcast again. A lot of things coming up and a lot of announcements. So let me get into the announcements portion first, since I haven't been around in a long time. If you are up in Ridgecrest, Ridgecrest is up north. I think it's about 3 hours. There's a convention. I believe it's an AA convention, Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not sure, but I know it probably is because that's what they kind of do up there. But Wolfman, they asked me to be a guest speaker to share his story on recovery. That'll be Saturday. I think it's April 11th at 6 p.m. Is it 7 p.m.? 7 p.m. 7 p.m. 6
Evening.
Evening. But after that, a couple hours, I'll be doing comedy. I believe that's a 9 o'clock show. I'll be doing comedy up there. And I'm going to try to get that recorded so I can post it on the YouTube channel. And the following week as well, April 18th, Saturday, April 18th at the 202 Club at 7:30 p.m. Me and some of my comedians will be performing a free comedy show. If you have a chance to be around the Anaheim area, California, West Coast, what's up? Please come on down and take get your laugh on, dude. You know what I mean? It's been a kind of a hefty year so far, a very heavy year. But me and some of my comedians will be performing April 18th. That is a Saturday, 7 p.m. And we'll be having more shows coming up as we go along the year. And I'll be advertising those, hence why I want to kind of do this every other week. But there will be a lot of stuff coming up there. So if you have a chance to get any of those, I have 2 gigs in April. If you have a chance, come and see them. I know that the convention, I think they charge to get in. But like I said, just hold off. I'll try to record that. And go ahead and get that. If you need more
details, you can always reach out.
They can always reach out, but also make sure that you can look at my social media to see the flyer, especially for the April 18th. That is a free show in Anaheim, California, West Coast. Whoa. That's coming up. So if you have a chance, hit at least the April 18th show for sure, y'all, okay? All right. So
it's never not funny.
I know, and I love that. And there was another. So for Frankie not being here, I had to play this.
I feel like I should be
like we're fucking Coming to America or something. So that's an announcement. The Spotify thing's an announcement for sure. And I know I changed my Instagram. I think I changed the name of it because I combined I think it was the tattooing and my personal page together, so it's another name or something, and I totally forgot the name, so I'm sorry about that. But you can always check out my social media. They'll probably have a link to it.
I can check.
You could check. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know by now, then you don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you'll get the information. Anyways, it's been a long time since we had the podcast, y'all. And stuff going on, and there has been a lot of life happening. We have tons of movies to review.
Big Adrian 714.
Hey, look at that, Big Adrian 714. I think I had like Big Daddy L or some shit.
Yeah.
So it's Big Adrian 714, and then it is Big Adrian Comedy. So those are my 2 Instagram pages. I'll forget. I don't give a shit. Maybe y'all remind me in my comments. Maybe go ahead and make a comment and put it on up there.
Comment.
That is a great comment. Hey, you remember, fool? Do you remember, Issy? So, so the Spotify is going to be coming out there, and also what's going to happen is the comedy shows are happening in April, and so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I did want to get into some reviews here before we get into the topic. Topic's going to kind of be a little heavy, so I wanted to kind of do the fun stuff first, or should we do the fun stuff second?
Fun stuff second.
Fun stuff second, okay, because she said so. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to go ahead and get into the topic then, because we haven't been around for a while, but there's been a lot of heavy shit going on this year. I don't know if anybody else has had like one of those years where you're trying to kind of get through the days and the weeks and the months and stuff. We went on a cruise the beginning of March, and I went with my buddy Sammy,
for her birthday.
Yeah, for her birthday. But we went with my buddy Sammy and his wife and stuff, and great time, freaking great going in
Great
Sonata
cruise.
for sure, great cruise. The last night I was already trying to book the next one and shit, but I had to wait for this one to end and be like, oh, hold on, bro. But it was a great time to kind of get away and stuff like that, and it was much needed for sure. And then after that, it was just a cluster with work and stuff going on, and trying to get the internship ready for the master's thing, trying to still pass the last class. A lot of life happening for sure. But I wanted to kind of touch on the topic a little bit, and one of the things is I wanted to kind of touch on something that kind of can be hard for people, you know. We've had a couple of the clients where I work at pass away and stuff, and you know, one of the things is, you know, grief and loss is a very big topic, but I didn't want to talk about grief and loss as in death, though. I wanted to talk about grief and loss when you finally are letting go of parts of you that are hard to kind of let go of. You know, they could be resentments, they can be regret, they can be self-doubt, things like that. You know, all those negative things that kind of, you know, maybe you know, you talk negative to yourself, you put yourself down. But that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today. Is I wanted to talk about losing the bad parts of you. That's what I wanted to talk about today on this podcast. All right. That last kid just holds on, dog. He's like, yeah. So I wanted to talk about this because I think that, you know, for a lot of us, you know, we call howling at life, you know, and stuff like that. And I said it before, you know what I mean? You got to kind of try to prepare yourself, have fun, do all the self-care things and whatever to be able to howl at life, right? To be able to kind of still face life, all the things that ends up happening with it. But one of the things that I kind of realized, and something that I've been working on the last year, if you've listened to the podcast, you can kind of know, if you go back, you can kind of hear some stuff. But one of the things that I kind of realized is, you know, it's very hard to lose parts of you that you're used to, even though they're toxic to you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I wanted to really touch on this episode, because I know for me it was very difficult to really assess some of those things that I was used to, whether it was behaviors, whether it was thought processes, whether it was defense mechanisms or survival or whatever I was trying to do to get through my day. You know what I mean? Getting older, you know, I kind of realized I'll be 50 later this year. Thanks, no applause. God, thanks. That's great. I'm the one in charge of the sound effects, and there was nothing on there. Like, oh, okay, thanks. You know what I mean? Which one is it? This one? Yay! Thanks. It's kind of late, but it's fine. But you know, one of the things that I really wanted to touch on was that fact that I started kind of really working on myself, and I started realizing, you know, last year that I was still kind of putting myself down a lot. You know what I mean? And I used to always make the excuse that putting myself down was like a kind of a way for me to have to overachieve and try to prove and overcome and all these things. But you know, this last year, y'all, I really want to let you know that I kind of realized that a lot of that baggage that I was dumping on myself, or even like, you know, the guilt or shame of certain things, you know, were weighing me fucking down, dude. You know what I mean? And I realized that, you know, I was spending so much energy carrying that weight, or talking down to myself, or being in doubt and in fear, that, you know, it was really, you know, messing up my howl to be able to howl at life. And that's what I kind of wanted to touch on today. So I'm going to kind of swing it to Spooky Bitch a little bit so I can drink my fucking drink, because we just came from the movies. But I wanted to talk about this because I know that this is a hard thing for a lot of people. You know, I always talk about for people that we're used to our roles and not our identities, right? So we're used to the things that we do, but we don't take that time to look at ourselves and work on ourselves. You know, some people are parents, or they're employees, or they're business owners, or they're this and that. And there's a lot of provider, nurture, whatever. There's a lot of roles that we play in life. And the thing is, though, is, you know, when those roles are no longer our roles anymore. You know, what happens if you don't have the job? What happens if the kids grow up? What happens if you've completed school, like if you're a student, right? That's one thing that I realized right now. I'm not in school for the next 2 months until I start my internship in May, and I'm like,
lucky.
I can't wait. I've been in school for like 5 fucking years, 2 different degrees. This is my 3rd one. But I was thinking about that. At some point, I'm going to stop my schooling and just get my licensing. You know what I mean? Get my associate therapist, get my licensing. And then I was like, maybe I should be a doctor. I said, maybe you should chill the fuck out. Because it's gonna take more schooling, and maybe in my like late 50s or something, like take a gap, bro. But I've been a student so long that without that, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do, you know. And so I think the thing is kind of shedding the roles, not forgetting the roles, but shedding the roles when the roles get shifted, and really working on yourself and seeing those things that kind of weigh you down, the kind of things that are really, you know, heavy on your ability to how that life even better. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to kind of touch upon today for sure. So I'm gonna
Woohoo! Yeah!
that last one gets me all the time. So I wanted to shoot at the spooky bitch because I know that for me it was hard for me to kind of see certain things about myself, right? But like I said, once the kids are grown, once you're out of school, once like you're on your own, you know, you've clocked out from work and you're just twiddling your fucking thumbs as an adult, you know, and then we got dogs. I'm like, fuck those dogs.
Fucking dogs.
See, there we go. So she knows. But it's being able to kind of look at those parts of you that are kind of really hard to look at and see that, you know, some of these things just don't work for you no more. So I kind of wanted to swing it over to Spooky over here and kind of ask her, like, have you noticed, you know, maybe in your journey, especially recently, and I know I have, but because we talked about it, it really talk. But what have you noticed? Why is that so hard to be able to look at those parts and maybe let those parts go that are toxic?
That is a loaded question.
Oh shit, here we go.
Very. No. I was like, what are you doing? No, very loaded question though, but something I also.
I have fun.
Something I also wanted to touch on though, when you talked about the negative self-talk and all that, I do that same thing all the time. I actually caught myself doing it yesterday when I was like sharing, and I called myself all kinds of names, and I didn't really think about that till now when you brought that up. But I do that often, and it's something that I have my own little chat with my girls, and something they always tell me is that you wouldn't talk to either one of us like that. So why do you talk to yourself like that? Like why don't we talk to ourselves like a friend? Like we would talk to our
Wow,
friends.
look at that.
And I don't know what happened. The way it's so much easier to talk to ourselves negatively and give that advice, but we can't take that own advice. So like they always remind me, like, you wouldn't say that to us, so why do you say it to yourself? If we said that to you, you'd be like, what the hell? So, and it's a good point. That's a rough something to let go of, and it's what is the word I'm looking for? It's like consistent work and consistently remembering not to do that to yourself. Like be your own friend, not your own enemy. That's today. Be your own friend, not your own enemy. But also, what was the other thing?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
What were we talking about again? That was perfect timing.
What are we talking about again? she just got fucking taken over right now.
That
That's
was
what's
the brain
happening.
cells trying to work.
That's your brain trying to work right there. That's what's happening there. But that was a great one. I was trying to think of like fairy dust things like that because I was like, the more you know, but it just didn't happen. So I was like, fuck it, that's the one. Suspense
After-school
spells.
specials. Seriously, what were we talking about again?
We're talking about the fuck, dude. Welcome back to Howling at Life. This is the Wolfman of Comedy. This is Spooky Bitch. Frank, where are you? We were talking about those things that are hard for us to let go. So like right there, let's talk on the first part that you touched on because I mentioned that as well. Some of us, we really talk down to ourselves, and you know, for a lot of people, it could be hard to like accept a compliment or whatever. You know what I mean?
Fucking difficult as hell.
Thanks. But for a lot of us, it can be difficult to like receive a compliment. I know for me, it's been very hard to receive compliments sometimes, and I still do kind of a deal because it feels weird. It feels like it feels like foreign to be able to, receive a compliment
That's
from
when
somebody.
I start like sweating and like not looking people in the eye. Like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, kind of like that. So that happens, and the reason why I know that was uncomfortable now, I know why that was uncomfortable for me, is because the fact is that I don't feel like that about myself, right? So when somebody else like, you did a good job, I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of shrug it off, you know what I mean, or downplay it. This happens a lot when I perform. If anybody's ever seen me perform, I get off, I'm like, yeah, it was nothing. You know what I mean? And but it's weird to receive a compliment when you don't even compliment yourself. I like how you said that a little bit. You wouldn't do that to your friend, so why would you do it to yourself? Kind of a deal. But part of the thing that I like I said, I've realized is that, for every compliment that I would give myself, I would always have like 15 ways to put me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I'm losing weight. Like, yeah, but what about this fucking love handle? And what
But it's
about
not
this?
enough,
What about this
and-
fucking,
yeah.
like, well, I don't have a double chin anymore. This fucking getting skinny as fuck. But, for everything that I like, for every time, actually this happened in the movie theater. I came back from using the restroom right before the
It
previews.
did.
Yeah. It did. Thanks. It did. It.
No,
Thank
you're
you.
not
No.
it, but that happened.
Oh, that
I'll tell you what
happened.
happened. I'll tell you what happened. I don't know if it's the same thing you're talking about, but probably is. So he went to the bathroom, same time always before the preview start, and he comes walking back, and he was walking up the stairs, and I don't even know what you said because I wasn't paying attention. I was just like, I was too busy paying attention to looking at you, and I was like, you do look skinnier. Like he looks a lot skinnier. And first you shoved it off.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything. He just was like,
No, I said something else. Is I feel fucking like thick or something or some crap like that.
Like
But
you blew it off a little bit, but then you flipped
but
it
then
around.
but then I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Thank you, whatever, kind of deal, because I
Yeah.
haven't been trying to work out, intermittent fasting, whatever, which I think at 10 o'clock's already passed, and that fucking sucks. It's already passed. But that's one of the things, and that's a great example because it just happened, right? And it usually happens a lot. If you have problems with trying to take a compliment or it feels uncomfortable a little bit, right? It's probably because you don't do that to yourself on a daily basis, man. You're not your own cheerleader. Let's just put it that way. But that's
a great cheerleader, but not for myself. Like I can admit that.
yeah, like exactly what I just said. What the fuck? I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like,
Oh,
the fuck? That's a great what the fuck bell, by the way.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I just the fuck. That's great. I gotta keep that. I gotta remember that's there. But I think that's one of the things for a lot of us that we do, and I think the fact is that we put ourselves down so much that it's such a constant behavior that it's hard for us to accept that we're doing it or find out that we're doing it. Plus, it's hard for us to let it go. Like I said, I've been working on it too, but like that was a great example. That
But
just
it's
happened
so
right
odd
before.
that's so comfortable for so many of us. Like why we're all the same. Well, maybe not all the same, but majority like of people I know, we're really good at doing that, but we're really good at being positive to everybody else.
Well, it takes me to another portion of this thing, like I had mentioned before. For a lot of us, if it's hard for you to take a compliment and you feel uncomfortable about it, blah, blah, you're probably putting yourself down. But what is putting you down? Like, why are you putting yourself down? And I think for a lot of it, I had mentioned before, you might have like guilt or shame over something, or you might feel like a failure. I know you had mentioned that, like I think the other day. And it could be because you maybe haven't reached a standard that you set up for yourself, right? Maybe the standard is too high. You know what I mean? And I think the fact is when other people are trying to motivate you, they're trying to like push you a little bit, right? To be able to reach your potential, not really a standard, but your potential. You know what I mean? The fact that we set our bar so high for ourselves that we can't reach it, that's where we start feeling like a failure. The problem is other people can see the potential that you can get out of that, and you can actually reach whatever the hell that standard is, as long as it's reasonable. But I think that's another toxic thing that we do to ourselves is we put too much pressure on ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We put too much pressure on ourselves. And so when you are talk down to yourself, it's kind of like this added pressure, whether it's guilt, whether it's shame, whether it's failure, whatever the feelings you got going on, it's hard for you to kind of move forward and probably hard for you to howl at life, to be honest with you.
And it's like pulling yourself out of that quicksand.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what we're doing every time. Never thought about that, but you're pulling yourself further and further down, not knowing that that's what you're doing.
Which is so funny because I love the meme that there's a meme that's on Facebook that I saw, and it says, when I was a kid, quicksand seemed like a bigger problem that it was going to be in my adult life, because it showed all of these different, like, the cartoons, the movies, or whatever, where quicksand was like, oh my god, I can't get out of it. We're like,
it was everywhere.
I've never seen quicksand ever as an adult.
I want to see quicksand.
You're stupid. But like it's that's what we do. Like, we put ourselves in quicksand, and then we take on more responsibilities or more weight or whatever.
We're wearing ourselves down.
And we're wearing ourselves down, trying to get out of the quicksand that we keep putting ourselves back into. Right? That is a very toxic behavior for a lot of us. You know what I mean?
And that's our comfort zone.
Well, and it is our comfort zone. And the thing is, this is why it's very hard for certain people just to sit still or to relax or whatever. I had told her this. Yeah, I know. That's where I'm going. That's literally where I'm going with this. Like,
I know. I was pointing at myself, for those who can't see.
That's what that bell means, okay?
Duh.
So, I had told her the same thing, like, right before the cruise, because you were still kind of like in this, I have to take care of so many things, mode kind of a deal. And I said, cool. This was right before we're gonna drive to go pick my buddy, and then we're gonna go to Long Beach to get on the cruise.
Literally before we left the house.
I was like, that's the last time that you're stressing out over something, right? Because that stress that we put on ourselves is because of that. It's because of the standard, the pressure, and a lot of us, and this is something else that we do that's toxic, just to let y'all know if you can identify with this. We justify why the fuck we do it. We always rationalize why the fuck we do it. Oh, it's because I gotta be responsible. I gotta take care of them. Like, and there's so many excuses and lies we tell ourselves that keep us in that fucking rut of going on. That is something we do all the fucking time. All the toxic shit that we got going on, all the things that you probably might not realize that you do, you will always find a fucking excuse why the fuck we end up doing that to ourselves on a daily, dude. It's always that last kid, dude, the whole time. I've never noticed that before until I started doing it right now. But that is another toxic thing that we do to ourselves that we will not probably realize we do. And it will be even harder to let it go once you realize that you do it, because it is ingrained.
It's usually
it's
because
ingrained.
somebody points it out. That's not because we notice it ourselves. It's because somebody mentions it or points it out and makes it visible to us, because we can't see it.
Well, and how many people that are listening to this or watching this or whatever you're going to do, now I got to say both since it's going to be on both Spotify and on YouTube. But how many people have done that where we're so all over the place? Somebody says, hey man, just relax, just breathe. Why don't you take a break? No, I can't. And just like you said with the compliment, I shrugged it off. But how many people shrug that shit off? I try to stay calm as much as I can, dude, because life just throws fucking some curveballs. Yeah. There'll always be shit to do later or tomorrow, you know what I mean? And so right now I don't want to do shit. But a lot of us will do that. So a lot of us will find reasons, again, to justify and rationalize the toxic shit we do to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was, I told you this, but I know the reasons why you couldn't do it, but it's happened before. Just take a day off. I can't because, my work needs me. I go, you're burnt the fuck out already, dude. You're stressing out going on, or the kids need me or whatever. And that's something I told her too. Your kids are fucking all adults. Fuck them. With love. You know what I mean? Not really fuck them. Just. But no, I think the thing is you can ease off on that responsibility once you've actually been able, right, to like, if your kids are already grown or the work is already done, great example. You're off of work and you're still in that anxiety mode. You're still in work mode. You're still in whatever. And you're, okay, now I got to take care of the house and the dogs. And you can't even give yourself that 20 minutes, man, to just unwind real quick, dude. Like unwind to the point where you can like let go of work. Now, I know that I'm on call once a month. It's usually like 3 or 4 days once a month. Other than that, on 4:30, I leave my phone at work. And I fucking bounce. I got people calling me like, oh, you didn't get my call? Fuck no.
Thank God I don't have a work phone. And that's one thing I actually will pat my fucking self on the back for, is that everybody at work, like all the other supervisors, they have the Teams chat on their phone. And they have their email on their phone. Mm-mm. When I started this position, I was like, absolutely not. Abso-fucking-lutely not. When I'm off, I'm off. I don't want to see no messages. I don't want to look at emails. Like, I spend fucking 10 hours a day doing that shit already. Why would I want that on my phone? And some people give me shit for it. You don't have it on your phone? Nope, I don't, and I will not. Mm-mm. I don't care what they tell me, because even like now I'm salary, So if somebody like reaches out, even on the weekend, I still have to respond. I do payroll on the weekends. There's sometimes when I work on the weekends too, but like they'll just contact me on my regular cell phone and they'll ask me questions, and I always have to answer. Imagine if I had a fucking work phone. Fuck that. No.
You know, I remember when I had a work phone. Now, like I said, usually when I like I'm looking at my phone, I got 4:28, and I'm like, I got 2 more minutes, dog, and like everybody starts laughing, and I got the alarm. I'm like, I'm out, dog. I'm gone. And I leave my work phone other than Wednesday nights or if I'm on call, I leave it at work.
Yep.
And the reason why is I used to have a work phone for a company that I worked for, right? And it had to be on 24/7 just in case. And these are people that lived in residential, which means they could always call you. Their families could always call you. The staff could always call you. Your boss could always call you. And I was getting calls that weird. And some of these people like are 3-hour difference kind of a deal. So they would get you like when, 9 at night, maybe it's midnight over there. They just got home or whatever the fuck they were from. But you would always get these weird calls at different times, right? Or it's like they would call you like at 5 in the morning and it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm like, well, I'm going to stab your child in treatment. He's not going to make it home for the holidays. It's one of those where it's like,
I laughed a little too hard at that. Sorry.
But no, I think the thing is, I remember like I was always grilled and like I couldn't, like when I'm on call, I still do shit, but I have to check my phone once in a while because you never know, you might get a call. But normally I try to, especially during the week, it's not a problem. I could be at home, I can take care of that. If there's a call that's an emergency, I can bounce. But I remember the last time I was on call, I went to a concert, we went to Knott's, I did this, and I think movies even too. But I checked my phone like, just in case.
And you actually did happen to get calls that time. Usually you don't, but you got.
I was at Knott's, I'm not leaving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it better be an emergency, big dog. I got the Knott's pass, I don't give a fuck, but I'm still not gonna leave. But no, the thing is that, it's hard for us to kind of like detach because we're still in that ramped up mode and I have to. And then we'll always find a reason or excuse why that's valid for us to keep ourselves in that burnt out mode, man. So, that's another thing that's really hard for people to be able to let go of themselves once they realize it. You know what I mean? Another thing, I'm gonna let you know. Again, we're rock and rolling with this for sure. There's a couple things we already announced right here. So if you related to any of this, please make a comment on the after the episode. Make a comment if you can relate to any of these things. But one other thing I'm gonna let you know, and this is a fucking big one, especially as we're adults. I'm gonna go ahead and drum roll this motherfucker. Hard thing for us to do once we realize it and to let go of it. Being able to forgive ourselves, man, and let go of the guilt and shame of what we shoulda, woulda, coulda done in the past. That's a fucking big one.
That's the top. That's the number one.
I love that shit, dude. I gotta go through all these.
That's a tough one, though.
That's why we're talking about it, man. Because I realize that my how hasn't been as good as it has been. There's been a lot of shit going on and stuff like that, in my head and life and work and school. It's just a lot of stuff, man. But I started noticing, like, not only was I going through this, because we had like a grief and loss counselor that came for the staff, a therapist that came on Friday, and she was talking to us about this client that had passed away and trying to get us to express maybe other things that we were dealing with, and then she stayed around for individual sessions. I was like, you got some time? I'll step right into it. I took like 25 minutes of her time, man, no problem. And then I got one of my coworkers like, hey, you gonna go talk to her? I don't know. Go talk to her. You know what I mean? But forgiving yourself, it's a hard one. Forgiving yourself or asking for help.
Oh fuck.
Wow, she's what was that?
I don't know which one of those is more difficult sometimes.
But those are some things that are hard for us to let go, man, that need to have to do it on our own.
Especially asking for help when we've lived a lifetime of having to do shit on our own. That's the hardest flip to make is knowing that it's number one, it's okay to ask for help, and number two, telling yourself inside that it's okay to ask for help, and actually physically doing the motion of asking for help.
But I think the thing is, like, going back to those two things, right, and all the stuff that I've mentioned already before, but those two things, right, maybe not forgiving yourself and not asking for help, that I have to do it myself kind of deal. And if you've ever said that, please make sure you make a comment, after this episode on the comments. But if you've ever had to say, I got to do it myself, that's because you're not forgiving yourself. That's because you feel an obligation to meet some kind of mental standard that you set. And it's probably because you fucked up somewhere and you should have done better. You know what I mean? And you can't forgive yourself for that. Somebody told me this a long time ago. I remember I had messed up about something. I said, man, I should have known better, you know? And if you've ever said that comment, please make sure you leave a comment after the episode. If you've ever
said that to yourself, I think you're lying.
Oh, you're lying. You're lying.
We've
you know
all said that to ourselves.
We've all said it. But I think the thing is, like, if you ever said, I should have done better, you know, what you're doing is you're kicking yourself in the ass about the past. But somebody had told me something when I said that to him. I said, man, I should have known better. He goes, you did the best you could with the knowledge you had at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now that I'm almost 50, like, I'm like, man, if I could go back to when I was 25 and tell me fucking, you know, leave that chick alone. Or say, but you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us, we probably now, when we're getting older or something, we kind of reflect on the past. Like, man, if I would have just gone left instead of right, man, you know. And so that's something that maybe you haven't allowed yourself to let go. You haven't accepted yet. You haven't been able to forgive yourself, and maybe that's why you're pushing yourself so fucking hard. You know.
Honestly, other side of that too. Maybe it's a trauma you haven't dealt with. You know what I mean? Maybe it's, you know, a thing that you did as a kid, or like something that was told to you as a kid, like this is the way it has to be, or you have to do this by yourself,
or something that you went through.
Something
you know?
that you went. Maybe it's some trauma that maybe hasn't been recognized yet. Maybe it's something, you know, that needs to be worked on.
Yeah, but like I said, once you kind of realize something's there, it's gonna. If any of these things kind of hit you, man, you're like, oh, this motherfucker's talking about me. Then it's probably because, like, I've been realizing a lot of these things about myself as I get older, as I'm working on myself and whatever, you know what I mean? Of course, you know, the career and the this and that. But it's like, I realized something, like, getting into my 50s, I don't want to carry any of this crap. I don't want to be down on myself. I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to, you know, keep on kicking myself in the ass. I don't want to keep on putting myself down. I don't want to, like, you know, not be content with myself. You know what I mean? And these are things, like, I kind of realized, I was like, I don't want to go in the next decade of my life doing all this shit. It seems like I've been doing this for a while, though, man. And then when I started thinking about it, I was like, dude, I started doing this in childhood, man. You know what I mean? Like, I have to do this because if not, my dad's going to be pissed off at me or something, you know, or whatever the case is. I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be ridiculed. I'm going to be treated like shit, whatever the hell the case is for you. But I think the thing is, you know, I realized that. You know, I was like, man, I wonder if anybody else struggles with some of this stuff, which I'm pretty sure we all do. But I'm pretty sure nobody ever told you that, hey, dude, maybe this is the reason why you're doing this, man. You know what I mean? And again, I used to use all of these tactics to fuel me to be like, I gotta kick ass. I gotta do this. I gotta kick ass and take names. And it was like, whose name am I taking? Nobody's around, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
And where are you putting the name?
Like, I don't fucking know. Like, you know what I mean? My prison wallet. So one of the, yeah, I'm gonna, in your what? In your what?
Woohoo! Yeah!
In your woohoo.
In your woohoo. In your yay. But no, I think that these are very important things to talk about and to think about, you know, for everybody in here, you know, coming up. This might be the reason why it's hard for you to maybe take a leap of faith, try a new hobby, get a new career, go back to school, try to even focus on yourself. You know what I mean? Kids are gone. We got to get dogs. Fuck them dogs, dog. Keep them in the cage or keep them in the backyard. Fuck it. Like, we got shit to do. This is why we kind of distract ourselves with a lot of different things, you know, or we get stagnant, right? Because we might have these things where we don't feel like maybe we're capable of something. You know what I mean? I was just talking to somebody on the way to the movie theater when me and Spooky were going to the movie theater. And I was like, dude, I understand you're in a different job and you wish you would have gone back to the other job. I kind of feel the same way because, you know, we used to work together a while ago. But I was like, dude, while you're there, dude, go to school. Do what you got to do, man. Do all this, man. Like, level up. You know, if you don't like where you're at right now and you can't, like, possibly make changes, I always say that. You know, if you can't possibly make changes, then fucking use the time wisely. Level the fuck up, man. Or do what you got to do. Or work on your health. Or, you know, like, it's already been 3 months without a cigarette for both, you know, me and Spooky right there. You know what I mean? We've had 3 months without a cigarette. No, I didn't say no nicotine. I said no cigarettes. All right, I got a pouch in right now. But you know, like, if you're not okay with where you're at in your life, dude, you can always do something to level something up and do something out of your wheelhouse, man. Like, get a new hobby, try something new, eat new food, try a new recipe. Like, I tried a new recipe, like, I think it was last week. You were sick though,
No,
so you couldn't eat it, but you finally did. And you're like, it was good. I go, I know, huh? Because I've been eating all fucking week. I meal prepped for both of us, but
I almost died last week, okay?
But the thing is, it's if you're in a spot that's making it difficult for you to howl, it's probably because some of these fucking things you're going through right here, man. And it's hard to let them go once you realize it. But also the thing is, you're getting older, man. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, why would you keep doing this shit to yourself? You know
And
what I
then
mean?
the biggest thing is just getting into the uncomfortable, getting out of the comfortable, because that's what we do. We're good at it. We stay in what's comfortable, and what's uncomfortable is gonna usually make us grow.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you a really big insight though, right? So I'm gonna get a drum roll for this one. Okay, really big insight on what she just said and what I just said right here. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you a little. When you get out of your comfort zone, get completely out of your comfort zone. Okay, don't get partially out of it. All right, I'm gonna let you know right now. Now, what I mean by this, okay, I'll give you an example. If you're trying to get out of your comfort zone, right? You're like, well, I like to read. Okay, but I like to read like history books. Got it. You know what? I'm gonna start reading nonfiction. Bitch, that's still in your wheelhouse, dog. Like you gotta get completely out of your wheelhouse. Cause I know some people, I was talking to this one person, I think as a client like a while ago. I was like, hey, do something new, bro. I'm gonna go fishing. I said, that's cool. I go, wait, don't you go fishing? Yeah, but I'm gonna go fishing in the ocean, not the lake. What the fuck? It's still fishing, bro. It's still in your wheelhouse. You're not getting out of your comfort zone. You're just changing the location of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Get out of your comfort zone. Do something completely new.
Getting out of your comfort zone, being somebody who doesn't like to be in front of the camera and being in front of the camera. Because it's
So anyway, so
because it's important. It sounds really silly probably to a lot of people, but I don't like to be looked at. I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't need anybody looking at me. He does. Yes, he does. But I knew this was important to do.
And I appreciate that. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I really need to get the podcast out for
so
sure.
I'm like, I'll do it with you. As red as I am, because I've been sweating this whole time because I know I'm in front of a camera, I still do it. It's fucking uncomfortable.
And that's what I'm talking about. If you're going to get out of your wheelhouse and your comfort zone to be able to grow and to explore some of these things that kind of like break from these chains of shit that we do to ourselves, negative shit that we do to ourselves, you got to get completely out. It's got to like make you kind of nervous, man. It's got to. That's why I do comedy. I look very comfortable, but it's always a process to get in there and be, get out there and, there's millions of thoughts going on, but it's like, that's why I started doing it. It's already been 10 years I've been doing comedy.
That's crazy.
And I know, fuck, why am I still here? I'm funny. Please buy a ticket. Had my free show. But what I'm saying is, like, I never did comedy before. I mean, I've acted, I sang, I've done musicals, all sorts, sang, all these things, even danced on stage. But I never did comedy. I never got that vulnerability that I had to connect. I just had to perform, and that's it. You liked it, and I'm here. But I had to, like, alter that on stage, man, and really get out of the comfort zone and be like, I'm going to get vulnerable and really see, what's going on. And, it was kind of just a whim because some people told me to do it. And I was like, holy fuck, dude, like, I've been doing it for a while. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what I'm talking about is like...
the same thing you said you did with tattoos, though, too. Like, you didn't know if you could do it.
I didn't know if I could do tattoos, and I just started doing them like, oh,
look
shit.
At him now.
Look at me now, 15 years later. Same thing with counseling, man. Totally out of my wheelhouse. I used to love just working at a warehouse, driving on my own, bro. Now I connect. I'm like, fuck. And like people talk to me like, shut the fuck up. Get away from me, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I gotta meet some people today. Hey, do you have a minute? I fucking really don't. What do you need? It's getting out. Like going back to school. I love being a student, but I never want to degrees and this and that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of these things that are holding you back is holding you back from growing and trying and evolving and transforming into maybe a more well-rounded person of yourself. Going on a cruise. For all of us, it was our first time going on a cruise. And so we're like, oh shit, now we're all masterful and
now
shit.
We're like, on the next one.
This is what we're going to do. $1 million. But no, even that was out of our wheelhouse, So it's being able to get out of that aspect, but also you got to realize, why are you not able to get out of that, man? And I'll be honest with you. I think the thing is that for a lot of us, we have a lot of negative things we do to ourselves. We put ourselves down, we make excuses and validations. We're miserable and don't want to admit it. You know what I mean?
We're afraid of failure.
Feelings of failure, guilt, remorse, anything from the past. Some of us are stuck in the past and we don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are stuck in the past still, and they can't move forward. They feel guilty for moving forward, maybe their loved ones aren't around, or maybe they're not where they want to be in life, and it's hard for them to howl consistently with life. They're just like mew, mew mew. That's not
Roar.
how. Roar. You know, and it can make it difficult. Some people, that's what that empty nester shit is. You know what I mean? The kids fucking grow up, they don't need you no more, and you're like, so, now you're pestering your fucking kids. You're like, dude, they're trying to get laid, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to make you grandkids, dude. Leave them alone.
No.
You know, or whatever the case is. But, you know, that's one of the things that I kind of realized for a lot of us, man, as we're getting older, you know what I mean? We got to look at these things that are negative. And I'll be honest with you, when you start taking a look at some of this shit, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel like shit. To be honest, it's going to be a shock to some of us. And you're going to have your little defensive moment. You're like, nah, I don't do that. Yeah, you do that. Okay, I'll tell you right now.
If you ever say I don't do that, that totally means
that means you're doing it. Okay, so just to let you know.
Not that we speak from experience at all. I'm just saying.
But no, I think the fact is, you know, the people, well, like that's that justification that whatever, like, oh, I can't do that. Like, who the fuck says you can't? You know what I mean? And I'll give you an example.
Oh, I do that.
I'll give you an example. Apparently, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into the fucking like entertainment review. We'll do that next episode. Because there's been so many movies we watched. There's so many things we've gone through. But but the thing is that you know, so many people like shoot themselves down before they even fucking try. You know, that's another negative thing that we do to ourselves. And we limit ourselves from experiences, right? So I can't do that. You know, no, I'm too old. Or, again, there's all that fucking bullshit that we've spit out. You know, I can't make changes, or I can't do this. I don't know. No. Bullshit. Yes, you can. You make it happen, Kevin.
Look at me now, halfway fucking through school.
But this is the thing, and this is what I was gonna say right here, right? Is that for a lot of us, if we think we can't do something, it's because we've already seen that we're not able to do it. We're holding ourselves back. But you're not even trying. How do you know you can't? Who the fuck says? And the reason is, I start feeling really bad when I start seeing videos on Facebook with like bodybuilders that have no arms or legs, and they're ripped. They're doing fucking pull-ups with their teeth, and they're ripped. I'm like,
so not funny.
And then I start pointing like, fuck that dude. I'm like, I'm pointing to him, but I look like this. You know what I mean? Or you know, the people that are doing amazing things, like this one chick paints with her feet.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, she has nubs for arms and shit, and she paints with her feet, and it's like beautiful, $1 million, this and that, and whatever. I'm like,
or the fucking dude that plays the piano.
Yeah.
With his toes.
Yeah, I'm just like, fucking hey. Your daughter could do that. She got some monkey toes, dog. She got some monkey toes, bro. But you know, ding 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 ding. But I see these people that normally, you know, would be considered like a handicapped or disabled or whatever, and they're talented, rocking shit like crazy, man. You know, making things happen. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you another video, and I think it's hilarious because it's fucked up, but I think it's hilarious. But this guy has no arms, no legs, and then he gets off the couch and he starts rolling down the floor, and then they start playing that song, and we be rolling, hating. But he gets off and does all this work just to answer the door or to go to the restroom or do whatever. And some of us, we take shit for granted.
And here I am. Go to the bathroom. It's too far.
Yeah, dude. You know what I mean? I want something to drink, but it's far away. You know what I mean? But, you know, there's a lot of extraordinary people, man, that you wouldn't even give a thought to. But to be honest, nothing slows them down because they want to see what they can do, man. And so I think that for us, you know, that are still here in the Wolfpack land, Monster Squad, anybody that listens to this, man, you know, the reality is that you're holding yourself back because of a lot of that internal shit that you're doing. Maybe you're not getting the results that you want in your life. Maybe you're not able to like reach those accomplishments, maybe whatever. But what inside you or you keep doing to yourself that's negative, that's not allowing you to reach that? You know what I'm saying? I tell her all the time, you want to lose weight? Stop stressing out. That's the number one thing. Everybody's like, it's diet, it's exercise. I'll say the number one thing. Stop stressing yourself the fuck out about it. You know what I mean? I pass gas, I lose 2 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, easy.
Ridiculous.
But you notice the difference though,
Yes.
right? You're crumpled up and can't, hey man. And then it's like, you know, and it's funny because I had a dream about this. I had a dream that my dad was like pointing to like Adrian's like traps or whatever. And they were all like buff. And then he pointed at me buff. And he saw my mom and she was like this too. And I was like, I get it from my mom. I get my shoulders from my mom. What's up, dog? But my mom used to be so stressed out, man. And she was never getting results. She wasn't happy. She was miserable. And, you know what I mean? And worried all the time and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, once you start working on some internal shit and letting some shit go, even though how hard it is, Oh, the weight is just.
Oh my god.
You can sleep.
Perfect
man.
example. I swear I'm gonna take like 30 seconds. A perfect example. I had a shit show of a day yesterday, right? Like it was a fucking shit show. And I actually think I ended up sleeping really well. And I woke up today and took the dogs for a long walk to the dog park. I fucking feel great today.
Oh yeah, you came back like I walked all the way there, all the way back, and there's like a mile there and then a mile back.
Like I jogged with the dog back because she wasn't trying to move, but like yeah, and then that was actually something you pointed out. You were like, it's because you had like a release.
Yeah. Yesterday was a very emotional release.
It was a heavy day.
And some of us are holding on to some emotions or some thoughts, you know, that are negative about ourselves, to ourselves and about ourselves. You know what I mean? And it's not letting you howl at life. It's not letting you get the results maybe that you want in life, man. You know what I mean? Or just a relief. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I thought it was really important to kind of get in here again. You know, trying to get in here and get the podcast going in again, y'all. Love that little kid at the end. Love him. But the reason I'm saying this, man, is take a look at some of these things that we've said. If any of these things rang true, leave a comment at the end of the episode.
Tell us what's holding you back.
Tell us what's holding you back too. Maybe we can do a podcast about that as well. Listen to the other podcasts that are there on Spotify as well as on YouTube. Check out the shows that are be coming up. If you can make them, please.
They're gonna be good.
They're gonna be fantastic. But you know, look at some of these things. I challenge y'all, man. You know, out there. You know, I mean, look at some of these things that are not allowing you to howl at life the most you can. Right? I'm just doing this shit in my dining room. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting it out there. You know. Well, I don't have a recording studio. Dude, nobody nowadays has a recording studio. So, you know, you can make things happen, dude. But, you know, the thing is that maybe there's something that's inside of you that you don't really want to face, that you don't really want whatever. But maybe that's the thing that you need to really do and face to be able to get you to where you got to get to in life, y'all. All right? So just want to let you know on that. Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode. Again, you can follow me on my social media. Listen, like, subscribe. And leave a comment at the end of this episode if anything rang true to you. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Thank you, Spooky, for being here as well.
Bye, guys.
We'll end like this as we always do. See you next time, everybody.